Our army, after having prepared yesterday on how to control Mekelle city without incurring collateral damage on the civilian population, have now fully taken control of the city as of this afternoon. After fully controlling Mekelle city, our army is hunting and going after the fighters that are hiding in holes and pits.
On this, Mohammed Ibrahim Shire is a lecturer in security risk management focusing on Africa at Portsmouth University. He joins me now. Mr. Shire, thanks for taking time to speak with us here. Firstly, this capture of Mekelle seems to have happened particularly quickly. Is there any reason to doubt that it's true?
Well, we don't know yet. Remember that there is an information blackout. So we don't know the details, the sketchy details yet. And hopefully in the next couple of days, hopefully the government removes this communication blockade, things might actually become more clearer. But at the same time, I'm not entirely surprised that this was quite a swift operation, given that the TPLF has never made the intention to do an insurgency, to commit to an insurgency, even though they have used that rhetoric quite a few times. But operationally, they were never prepared for it. And that's a problem as well. I believe that given the existing predictions that have been made that this might turn into a protracted conflict, we have used a historical template given TPLF's historical rebellion against the Mengistu dictatorship. And we have tried to use that to predict that what's going to happen this time. And it hasn't, because obviously these factors, these enabling factors that were there in the 70s and the 80s are no longer there. And Abiy Ahmed's government, or the Ethiopian government, made that sure that these factors should not be made presentable so that they could exploit and turn this into a long, extensive conflict.
Well, the leader of Tigray's forces reportedly said that they'll continue fighting the government, but you recently tweeted that you don't believe the TPLF will be able to retaliate. Why?
Okay, like I said, these enabling factors are no longer there. I think the Abiy's government made sure that these factors are no longer there. First, he made sure that he secured the border with Sudan. Remember, Sudan was an important base for the TPLF in the 1980s and the 70s. Where they had basically the effective route for fresh supplies. And secondly is that there's no international sympathy for TPLF, even though during the 70s and 80s when they were fighting against the Mengistu dictatorship, they had some international sympathy, they had some external allies. That's no longer there. They're quite isolated. And finally, remember that the TPLF is primarily composed of one single ethnic group. So they are quite limited to their own community. And given that the government has managed to secure or capture some of the population centers belonging to the TPLF, that automatically reduces their mobilization base. And I expect that there's going to be a string of defections, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. So these type of enabling factors, Abiy was quite quick in trying to disable them, try to disable for the TPLF so that they could not exploit it and turn this into a long, protracted insurgency.
And the 45,000 or so people who left Ethiopia and went to Sudan, do you think they'll be able to come back safely? If so, when?
See, I think the real test is, and this is actually the crucial test now for the Abiy's government, is the hearts and minds approach. He needs to actually make sure that there's not going to be identity profiling. There's not going to be any reprisals or any attacks against ordinary Tigrayans or even moderate TPLF. And in order for him to do that, he needs to primarily focus now on capturing the hearts and minds of the people in the Tigray region so that he can create a safe place for them to return back to their homeland or their home region. And that's actually quite a big test. And it all depends what action Abiy will take, hopefully in the next couple of days or even weeks, to send a signal out that it's safe to return, that there's not going to be any backlash or any attacks against ordinary civilians. And once he manages to do that, I believe that the Ethiopians living in the Tigray region will have a reduced skeptical view about Abiy's government operation in the Tigray region.
Mohammed Ibrahim Shire, we appreciate your analysis. Thank you.